Africa has long been portrayed as a continent waiting for help, waiting for aid, waiting for permission to rise, but today, one small nation is challenging that story, and the world is paying attention. In the heart of West Africa lies Burkina Faso, a landlocked country surrounded by deserts, rugged terrain, and decades of hardship. For years, its people lived with limited electricity, unreliable water supplies, and fragile healthcare systems. In many villages, nightfall meant darkness, schools shut down after sunset, hospitals struggled to save lives without power, progress felt distant. But now, Burkina Faso is rewriting its destiny. Under the leadership of Captain Ibrahim Traoré, the country has announced one of the boldest infrastructure visions in modern history, an $800 billion hydroelectric mega-project designed not only to transform Burkina Faso, but to power 15 West African nations. This isn't just an energy project, it's a declaration of independence, a statement of pride, and a challenge to how the world views Africa. The plan centers on building 11 massive hydroelectric dams along the Mouhoun River, one of Burkina Faso's most important waterways. Together, these dams will form a connected energy system capable of producing clean, reliable electricity on an unprecedented scale, power that will flow through a smart electric grid, delivering energy where it's needed most: cities, villages, farms, hospitals, and factories across the region. For decades, electricity in Burkina Faso was a luxury. Urban centers faced constant blackouts, while rural communities had none at all. Families relied on candles, kerosene lamps, and firewood. Dangerous, unhealthy, and environmentally destructive solutions. Children couldn't study at night, doctors performed medical procedures under candlelight, entire communities were held back by darkness. Captain Traoré saw electricity not as a privilege, but as a right. When critics laughed at the $800 billion price tag, calling it impossible for a country with a small economy, Traoré refused to back down. He believed that Burkina Faso's rivers, people, and natural potential were enough to fuel a revolution. Instead of relying on traditional Western funding, his government partnered with emerging economies such as Brazil, Iran, and Cuba, bringing engineers, technicians, and architects to work alongside local laborers. The goal was clear: African solutions. African leadership, African ownership. Construction is already reshaping the nation. Thousands of workers are pouring concrete, installing turbines, laying transmission lines, and learning advanced technical skills. Entire communities are being trained for long-term careers in energy, engineering, and technology. Pride is growing alongside progress, but the dams are only half the story. The real innovation lies in the smart grid, a high-tech energy network powered by artificial intelligence. This system balances electricity in real time, preventing blackouts and reducing waste. When factories need power during the day, they get it. When villages need light at night, it's there. Solar systems back up the grid, ensuring uninterrupted flow. The impact is already life-changing. Hospitals can now run ventilators and diagnostic machines without fear of power loss. Farmers use electric irrigation pumps to grow crops year-round. Students study under bright lights instead of flames. Businesses expand with confidence. Markets go digital. Opportunity replaces limitation. The project has created over 1.5 million jobs and continues to grow. Green energy companies are setting up near dam sites, turning parts of Burkina Faso into what some are calling Africa's clean energy innovation hub. Agriculture is booming. With reliable power and irrigation, farmers are exporting crops like rice, tomatoes, and mangoes to international markets. Income is rising, communities are rebuilding, the economy is transforming, and the ripple effects extend far beyond Burkina Faso. As the grid connects 15 West African countries, factories in Ghana run non-stop, markets in Nigeria go digital, and schools in Mali gain internet access. One nation's vision is lifting an entire region. The world has noticed. Countries like China, Russia, and India are now seeking partnerships. Europe is watching closely as the global demand for clean energy grows. Some Proposals even suggest future power connections beyond Africa. What began as a national project is now a geopolitical shift. This is more than electricity, it's sovereignty, it's dignity, it's Africa choosing its own future. Captain Ibrahim Traoré didn't launch this project to impress global powers. He launched it to restore hope to his people, to prove that Africa doesn't need to be saved, it needs to be empowered. In the coming years, Burkina Faso could be unrecognizable. Green cities, digital schools, modern hospitals, new industries, and a generation of young Africans building their future at home, not fleeing abroad. And as turbines spin and lights shine across once-dark villages, one message becomes clear. Africa is not waiting anymore, Africa is leading. If this story inspired you, share it, because Africa's future is bright, and it's being built by Africans, for Africans. If you want, I can also. Perhaps the greatest impact of this project is the way it has changed how people think. Young people in Burkina Faso no longer see their future as something that exists only outside their country. Instead of dreaming of leaving, they are choosing to stay, to become engineers, scientists, technicians, and entrepreneurs. Enrollment in universities and technical institutes is rising. A new generation is being trained in energy, artificial intelligence, and renewable technologies. New urban centers are emerging near the dam sites. Small shops are growing into factories. With electricity and internet access, the digital economy is taking root. Mobile banking, online businesses, and remote work, once limited to urban elites, are now becoming part of everyday life for ordinary people. This journey has not been easy. Serious challenges still remain. Climate change, security concerns, and international pressure continue to test the country. But the difference now is clear. Burkina Faso is facing these challenges on its own terms. Decisions are no longer being made in distant rooms abroad. They are being made on home soil. For Captain Ibrahim Traoré, this project is not just about infrastructure. It is a message to every nation that believed Africa could only follow, never lead. This project declares that Africa can think, plan, and act for itself, and perhaps most importantly, this story does not belong to Burkina Faso alone. All of Africa is watching. Countries like Niger, Mali, Togo, and others have begun developing their own energy strategies. A new movement is taking shape, one where Africa turns its natural resources into its own source of strength. As the turbines continue to spin and power lines stretch across vast distances, one truth becomes impossible to ignore. This is not just an electricity project, it is a mental and political revolution.